This is the Penwiper plant, and no, do not wipe your pen on the leaves of this plant. Okay, so this plant is known as Kalanchoe Marmorata, and it has beautiful spotted leaves and kind of an interesting shape on the edges of the leaves. And the leaves look almost as if they've been painted by hand. So first off, the Kalanchoe Marmorata is native to the tropical regions of Africa, mostly in Ethiopia, Somalia, and parts of Central Africa. And it naturally grows in a rocky, dry environment where it gets plenty of bright light and excellent drainage. Now, the nickname or the name Marmorata actually means marbled or spotted, and that makes sense when you look at the leaves of this plant and you can see these purplish, brownish markings on the edges of the leaves. Also, this plant belongs to the Crassulaceae family, which includes, your jade plants and echeverias. Okay, so why is the Kalanchoe Marmorata called the Penwiper plant? Well, back in the old days, when they used a quill, a feather quill, and an ink pot, or a fountain pen with an ink pot, you would blot the tip of your feather quill or the pen onto a cloth. And because the leaves look like they have ink splotches, hence the name Penwiper plant. Okay, now the Kalanchoe Marmorata loves bright light, and if you are going to grow this plant indoors, make sure you place it near a south or a west-facing window if you can. Now, I grow mine outdoors, and the type of light that it does receive some morning sun and a little bit of afternoon sun. And the afternoon sun is what can get really hot during the summertime, and you could scorch your leaves. So probably what I will do as the summer wears on, I may move this plant a little further away from where it is so it does not get that harsh summer hot sun. And don't forget, if your plant starts to become leggy, it means your plant needs more light. As far as watering is concerned, the Penwiper plant, like most other succulents, prefers the soak and dry method. So what you will do is you'll water your plant thoroughly, then allow the soil to dry out completely before you water it again. And during the winter time, it's really important not to overwater your plant if you keep your plant outdoors in a rainy climate. So perhaps place this plant underneath the eaves. And you will keep watering until you see water come out the bottom of the pot. That's why it is so important to have drainage holes in your pots whenever you're growing succulents or cactus. Now for the soil mix, you need it to be well draining. And what I usually use is a cactus or succulent mix, and then I'll add pumice to it. You can also add perlite to your mixture, but I like the pumice better because the perlite will kind of float to the top. However, if you do use a top dressing such as I've used here, that will help to keep the perlite down. And the top dressing that I used here is some fire glass. You can also see here that I used an orange pot because I thought it contrasted really well with the sort of lime green color of the Kalanchoe Marmorata plant. Okay, so the Kalanchoe Marmorata prefers warm temperatures and low humidity, and it does not care for frost at all. So if you grow yours in a pot and you can bring it indoors if you're expecting frost, then that would be great to do so. Otherwise, if you have a frost cloth, you might want to consider covering it up. The area that I live in is zone 10A, and we very, very rarely have a frost. It's highly unusual. So I can leave my plant outdoors basically all year long, which I do. The Penwiper plant does flower, and it will flower in the late winter and early spring. Now, I have had my plant for approximately 2 years or almost 2 years, and it has yet to flower. But supposedly, the flowers are kind of star-shaped. They are white, and they're kind of four-petaled, and sometimes they're tinged with a little bit of pink. There are a few important things to remember. Do not overwater, and that is true for all succulents and all cactus. If you get some yellow or some mushy leaves, that means you have given your plant too much water. Also, if you see that you have leggy growth, then that means that your plant is not getting enough light. And one other thing, if your plant is not getting enough light, you will notice that the leaf spots will fade. And you can see here, I originally had my Penwiper plant in too much shade, and you could not see the blotches on the plant at all. And they basically disappear. Okay, so I understand that you can propagate this plant pretty easily from stem cuttings, but I have not tried that yet. But I think this is a very interesting succulent, and I would recommend it. I have not had any problems growing it, other than initially I had it in too much shade, but it has been very easy to grow. Okay, let me know if you have ever grown Kalanchoe Marmorata or the Penwiper plant, and if you knew the story behind its nickname. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and maybe even hype the video if you're in the mood to do that. And as always, my channel is free and will always be free. So if you hit the subscribe button, it won't cost you a dime. All right, thank you so much for watching my video, and check back with me next time to see what I'm up to. Bye.